All right, we're going to take you to the halls of the Capitol here momentarily, but Kevin McCarthy, former House Speaker, talking live. Let's listen.
We need to make sure Hamas is destroyed. We need to make sure the resources that go to terrorists from Iran is stopped. The sanctions are already there. I laid out a 5-point plan yesterday. The president right now should be very clear to the rest of the world that the American hostages have to come home now, that we will not accept anything that goes against these hostages, and we will have vengeance if they do one thing to them. The other thing, we need to resupply Israel with the ammunition they need. We need to impose the sanctions that are already there. When President Biden took office...
All right, that was Kevin McCarthy, of course, talking about the ongoing situation in Israel. He is there in the halls of the Capitol because Republicans are getting together trying to figure out exactly what comes next here after McCarthy lost his job last week. And, of course, there is a whole new backdrop now to the speaker's race and who might be the next Speaker of the House. Mychael Schnell is live up on Capitol Hill where that meeting is taking place. I guess Kevin McCarthy is probably talking live there over your shoulder. Thank you for joining us. What's the latest? What are you hearing?
Hey, look, Blake, as you mentioned, Kevin McCarthy speaking right behind me, and then behind him in a room back there is where House Republicans are currently huddling for their candidate forum. Republicans right now, in a few minutes, are going to be hearing from the two declared candidates, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan. The intention is that after today, there'll be speeches from Jordan and Scalise, a Q&A session afterwards where lawmakers can speak to the two candidates. And the intention is to vote on a nominee for Speaker tomorrow behind closed doors in conference. But I'll tell you, Blake, both candidates right now do not have a clear path to the nomination. There is not a clear front runner. Both have picked up significant support. So today's candidate forum will be significant to have some of those undecideds hear directly from the candidates.
Michael, you could hear programming, so you could hear Kevin McCarthy there, right, when we dipped in?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong, but that was as fiery of a Kevin McCarthy that I think I've ever seen. It's certainly up there as he was talking about Israel and what he believes the president needs to do. What did you make there of what Kevin McCarthy was saying? I think it goes to show how the dynamic up on the Hill has totally changed with this one.
Yeah, look, that Kevin McCarthy that's right behind me right now speaking to reporters is similar to the Kevin McCarthy that we heard from yesterday in more than 30 minutes of a press conference where McCarthy, who has a very pro-Israel background up here on Capitol Hill, talking about that situation in Israel, the unprecedented attack by Hamas on Israel. And look, Kevin McCarthy, he's traveled to Israel earlier this year. He addressed the Knesset. He invited Israeli president to the Capitol. This is a significant moment for him because it obviously comes right after he was ousted from the speakership. But yesterday during that press conference, he left the door open to a potential comeback bid, essentially saying that he would listen to the will of the conference and asked about if he's the right person for the job in this moment, if he would take the nomination, again, deferring to his conference, really clearly leaving the door open there. Of course, Republicans are right now huddling behind closed doors, but absolutely, this is a moment where Kevin McCarthy is, A, leaning into those pro-Israel credentials, at the same time leaving the door open to his speakership. So it's a pretty significant moment right now.
Mychael Schnell, live for us in the halls of the Capitol. As you can see, Kevin McCarthy over her shoulder. Michael, thank you. I'll throw it to anyone here. That was a different Kevin McCarthy that we heard just moments ago.
I think the one thing we may agree on is Kevin McCarthy doesn't need to throw his hat back in this ring. He's already had the job. And it's like, you know, him trying to get recruited again, it looks so cringe.
I agree. He is trying to get recruited.
You think that was like a campaign speech almost?
Absolutely it was. Yeah. Everyone doesn't know which way to go. Let me say what the problem was here. The problem was not that Kevin McCarthy got sacked. The problem was the Republicans sacked Kevin McCarthy without a plan. And when it comes to funding in Israel, essentially you can have the acting Speaker McHenry do what you need to do. But you have to understand there are much bigger problems within the Republican conference. They need to find a new speaker, get unified behind it. I'm not worried about 2024, how this plays out, because if you unify behind a speaker, guess what's going to wind up happening? Republicans are going to basically march on in 24. And here's why. Gallup. You look at how Americans feel about the economy here at home. Republicans are up by 14% over Democrats on the economy. That is the widest spread since 1991. So unify behind a speaker, whoever that speaker may be, move forward with the plan, and you're going to do very well in 2020.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.